Airport. Present arms.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early lights what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Order.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bob Harvey. I'm the President and CEO of the Greater Houston Partnership. Thank you all for joining us today for our State of the Airports luncheon. And for a few of you, this may be your second day in a row in this very same room. We had State of the Ports here yesterday with a great crowd as well. We very much look forward today to hearing from Mario Diaz, the Director of the City of Houston Department of Aviation, just a few minutes later in the program. I would like to quickly acknowledge the U.S. Customs and Border Protection Honor Guard, led by Supervisory CBP Officer Michael Roman, for kicking off today's event with the presentation of colors. Can we have a hand for them? And I'd also like to recognize Tony Henry. That was Tony who provided that very moving rendition of the national anthem. Let's have a hand for Tony. Now, it's my job just for the next minute or so to give you some teasers on the airport system, and Mario will both amplify and correct, I'm sure, what I say in his remarks. The Bush Airport alone welcomed more than 11.5 million international passengers in 2016, thanks in large part to the continued expansion of its international service providers and its growing route map. The airport has welcomed 10 new international passenger airlines and 3 new international cargo airlines just since 2013. So thanks to that growth, a total of 23 air carriers now provide international service out of Bush Airport, connecting passengers to 71 international destinations in 38 countries. Now, recently, the airport celebrated the opening of the Terminal C North, the new complex there, which will begin the process of the construction of a new Mickey Leland International Terminal. Now, shifting to the south, in October of 2015, just 2 years ago, Hobby Airport celebrated the completion of a new $156 million terminal expansion. And in 2016, the first full year with international service, connecting to the growing market in Latin America, Hobby Airport welcomed more than 800,000 international passengers. So all this increased connectivity is vitally important for Houston, both economically and culturally. Access becomes opportunity with international travel expansions. They increase tourism, they increase cultural connections, They contribute to relationship building, all of which allows our city to connect and stand out across the world. Of course, we all know that in addition to being a great global city, we've been known for my lifetime as Space City USA. And under Mario's leadership, the Houston Airport System received Spaceport designation for Ellington Airport 2 years ago. Ellington Airport is now in the process of constructing a new control tower. You got to listen to this because this is so cool, Mario. Ellington Airport is now in the process of constructing a new control tower that includes dedicated mission control facilities for commercial spaceflight operation. Now, how cool is that? And I must say, working with Mario, working with his team on economic development efforts, Ellington Airport figures prominently in quite a few of our recent proposals to attract major new businesses to Houston. So as you all know, the partnership works to make Houston one of the world's best places to live, work, and build a business. And our strategic partners, such as the Houston Airport System, are integral to that mission, and we appreciate the great job that they all do in helping us all build Houston as a global hub. Now, I'd like to acknowledge those who have made today's event possible, our sponsors, of course. And I'll read the entire list of sponsors, and then we'll stop and offer our thanks and applause. Our sponsors include Platinum sponsor, Houston Airport System, Gold sponsors, Arcadis, Dannenbaum Engineering, United Airlines, WSP Parsons. And our Silver sponsors include Comfort Systems USA, Direct Energy Business, Jacobs Engineering Group, and our Bronze sponsors include All Nippon Airways, Atkins, Bracewell, Houston First Corporation, IMS Engineering, Reliant, an NRG company, S&B Infrastructure, Southwest Airlines. Can we recognize all of our sponsors who made today's event possible? Thank you. Now, before we take a break for lunch, and again, feel free to continue eating, I'd like to acknowledge the elected officials who are here today. Would the elected officials please stand and remain standing when I call your names, and we'll hold the applause until I've said all four of the elected officials. Today we have with us Councilmember Robert Gallegos, Councilmember Mike Laster, Councilmember Dave Martin, and Councilmember David Robinson. Can we acknowledge our 4 city council members who are here? And we have one appointed official, a good friend of mine, Metro Board Member Sanjay Ram. Sanjay, can you stand and let us recognize you as well? Thanks, Sanjay. Now, there are a couple of other groups I'd like to recognize. The Houston Consular Corps, which plays a vital role in maintaining and building these international connections I was talking about earlier. The Houston Consular Corps has a number of members present. Would you stand and let us recognize you here today? Members of the Consular Corps. I say that now, I'm not seeing anyone. No applause if they didn't come. Thank you. All right. I don't know what that says, Mario. They were all here for Janice Longoria yesterday, so we need to we'll talk to them. So let's take a brief break for lunch. The program will resume in just a few minutes. But again, thank you all for being here on a Friday. I look forward to seeing you in a few more minutes. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'll try to quieten it down a little bit. I've got a megaphone mounted to my face. I'd first of all like to, and please continue eating, I'd like to recognize the Vice Mayor Pro Tem, Jerry Davis, who's in the audience. Jerry? Once again, please feel free to continue eating. I'm George DeMontron, and I serve as the chair of the Partnership's Transportation Advisory Committee and on the Board of Directors. It's my honor today to introduce Mario Diaz, the Director of the City of Houston Department of Aviation. Mario is responsible for the executive leadership of the Houston Airport System and its 3 aviation facilities: George Bush Intercontinental Airport, William P. Abbey Airport, Ellington Airport, and its more than 1,300 employees. He is one of the industry's innovators when it comes to the future of commercial aviation. Prior to his arrival in Houston in 2010, Diaz was the Deputy General Manager for Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. He was responsible for ensuring the daily operational activities of the world's busiest airport. Prior to that, Diaz spent 17 years with the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. His job included key management positions in leasing, finance, marketing, operations, and properties. During this period, Diaz also served 18 months as the Assistant Director of the Redevelopment Program at John F. Kennedy Airport. He also worked at Newark Liberty International Airport and Teterboro Airport. Even before that, and this is the real skinny, Mario fell in love with travel. During his college years, for 10 weeks, with a backpack and a Europass, he toured England, Brussels, Switzerland, Ireland, Spain, and Morocco. Sleeping in castles, debating the issues of the times with other student tourists, seeing the Swiss Alps, the deserts of Morocco, all set him on a course for adventure that he is still on today. In 2013, Diaz was named Airport Director of the Year by Airport Revenue News Magazine and was named Public Official of the Year by the University of Houston Master of Public Administration program in 2014. The Houston Business Journal also named him as a finalist in its inaugural CEO of the Year competition in 2015. A native of Barranquitas, I hope I got that right, Puerto Rico, and a licensed private pilot with instrument certification, Mario earned his Bachelor of Arts degree from Rutgers University in Newark, New Jersey. He also earned a Master of Business Administration in Finance from the Rutgers Graduate School of Business Administration. Before I ask Mario to take the stage, let's take a look at our airports. See the screen.
Who is the Houston Airport System? We are a reflection of our community. In a growing city, connecting people, businesses, cultures, and economies of the world. We are a global gateway with 5-star amenities, world-class facilities, and innovative ideas. We are ready to meet the demands of the future and celebrate the magic of flight. We are the Houston Airport System.
Please, at this time, please join me in welcoming Mario Diaz to the stage. Mario, come forward. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. You know, I better race through this address before that food kicks in, especially that chocolate cake is going to knock you out. Well, council members, distinguished guests, and our airline, General Federal Aviation, and service partners, it is good to be back today for the annual State of the Airport address to speak to you about the Houston Airport System and the role it plays in helping to make and to keep Houston strong. I want to thank our Mayor, Sylvester Turner, for his leadership and for recognizing the role that the airports play in Houston's growing prominence on the global stage. I also want to thank Bob Harvey and the Houston and Greater Houston Partnership for the business and government leadership that is focused on what is necessary to drive this great city forward. In thinking about this year and the events that have transpired, I can't help but recall the memorable introduction to Charles Dickens' book, A Tale of Two Cities. To paraphrase Dickens, this year was the best of times. It was the worst of times. It was the epic of belief. It was the epic of incredibility. We were all going direct to heaven. We were all going direct the other way. In short, this year was so far like the present period that some of its noisiest authorities insisted on it being received, for good or for evil, in the superlative degree of comparatives only. Of course, Mr. Dickens was talking about the great cities of Paris and London. Metaphorically, I am just going to be talking about Houston. Now, we can all think of the numerous ways in which this passage reflects Houston. Here are 3 stories that speak to the contrasting views of our city this year. Let me begin long before the start of 2017. Houston's business community touted the city's ability to host one of the most high-profile travel events held annually in the United States. Because of our ability to accommodate hundreds of thousands in our hotels, to entertain them in the parks, in the convention centers, and the growing reputation of one of the best foodie towns in America, we won that chance. So all eyes were on Houston for Super Bowl 51, and we made the absolute best of the opportunity. Our flight operations were prepared, our newly renovated shops and dining concessions were ready to wow passengers. Football teams arrived, football fans arrived to find world-class shopping and phenomenal local eateries even before they stepped foot outside of the airport. The amenities that were in place for the big game would later be recognized as the top dining experience of any airport in North America by the airline industry analyst Skytrax. That's how good we had become. After witnessing one of the most phenomenal finishes in Super Bowl history, an estimated 190,000 passengers passed through our gates the day after. It was one of the busiest days in the airport's history. Yes, our on-time rate was phenomenal. TSA did a tremendous job moving passengers through our security lines, and the national media was filled with accolades for how well we moved our flying football fans through our goalposts, gates. We were all flying high, and apparently some of us still are. Then, on Friday, August 25th, the first signs of what was to become the worst flooding event in the city of Houston's history appeared on the horizon as a steady rain. When it was finally over, hundreds of thousands of residents would be seriously affected. With 50 inches of rain falling in some areas of Houston, our airport system again proved its worth. In the middle of the storm, Ellington Airport became the base of operations for the U.S. Coast Guard Service, which performed over 11,000 high water rescue missions in our area. Intercontinental Airport provided support for military aircraft delivering provisions to people in the flooded area and evacuating patients that needed life-sustaining care outside of the flood zone. Our airline partners focused on the needs of the flying public. Southwest Airlines provided 4 flights out of Hobby, taking stranded passengers to their hubs so that they could continue on to their destinations. Similarly, United, Spirit, Delta, and American provided the same services for passengers at Bush Intercontinental Airport. Ellington also facilitated Air Force One and a visit from President Trump that would ultimately result in federal recovery assistance for our city. By the following Tuesday morning, our executive team had crafted a plan that would allow the airports to open on the following day. Working with the airlines, the federal agencies, we opened both Intercontinental and Hobby by Wednesday afternoon. Now, move forward in time just a few weeks, and just as quickly, Houston was at the center of the world stage once again, as the Astros met the Los Angeles Dodgers in the World Series. One can imagine a silent common thought spreading across Houston. Why only be a great host as we were for the Super Bowl? Why not be a great winner too? We need to show the world what Houston Strong really means. And so on November 1st, Houston played partial host as the Houston Astros won the World Series in 7 games over Los Angeles Dodgers and brought back that beautiful trophy home. Houston truly is the home of champions. In the end, Super Bowl, World Series travelers packed their bags, took away great memories, and told great stories about our city. We were determined, and we succeeded in delivering a seamless travel experience for our guests, leaving them with the most wonderful impression of the city we serve. A tale of 2 cities? Or is it maybe just a tale of one of America's greatest cities, demonstrating determination, resilience, and courage? Like the city Like the city it serves, the Houston airport system is composed of talented individuals with years of experience in the respective fields who have guided our airports to a higher level of value for those we serve. Let me take a moment to introduce to you my senior staff, the men and women who, along with our entire team, more than 1,300 dedicated associates, have navigated the Houston airport system to another successful year. As I call your name, please stand and be recognized. Jesus Saenz, Chief Operating Officer. Ted Kitchens, General Manager, Bush Intercontinental Airport. Richard McCurley, Interim General Manager, Hobby Airport. Arturo Machuca, General Manager of Ellington Airport. Ian Wadsworth, our Chief Commercial Officer. Harleen Hines-Smith, our Chief Human Resource Officer. Robert Mers, our Chief Financial Officer. Tanya Acevedo, our Chief Technology Officer. And Saba Abishal, who is not with us today, our External Affairs Officers. Thank you all. Thank you for all you do. Now, for the past several years, I have stood before you to paint a picture of seemingly never-ending growth in every aspect of airport operations, financial performance, and capital investments. For those of you who understand the airport business model, you know that the business is a derived economic activity that is a function of the number of flights and passengers serving the airport. Passenger traffic, in turn, is a function of the regional economy, population growth, and sustained job creation patterns. For this reason, today's address will begin with a focus on the regional economy and how recent changes have affected airport operations. I will also address our success in passenger service and explain our financial position. Finally, I will speak to the plans for the expansion and to position ourselves as the economic realigns with the fair winds portending growth. I would say we have enjoyed an incredible tailwind over the past 6 years, and I believe we have taken advantage of every opportunity to position all three airports to weather the economic clouds we have entered. We do expect to encounter additional headwinds and turbulence developed from the energy sector stall, and we will work with our airline partners to make adjustments. Again, we are guided by the energy sector analysts who assure us the current economic conditions are temporal, not structural. This is a cyclical event with which Houstonians are familiar. Now, Joel Kotkin, the noted demographer and internationally recognized authority on economic, political, and social trends, once described Houston as one of America's great cities of the future, as demonstrated by the number of people who have voted with their feet and chosen to make Houston their home. I would suggest that far more have voted and cast their vote with an airline ticket. Either way, Houston is poised to become the third largest city in the United States by 2035. That growth bodes well for our long-term future. This year, the Greater Houston Partnership declares that the economy is on the verge of a recovery, another good sign for us going forward. But it is interesting to note that while the city has continued to add jobs over the past 3 years, the actual gross domestic product of the Houston metropolitan statistical area has actually decreased during that time frame. We went from an estimated $522 billion in 2014 to $496 million in 2015 to $479 million in 2016, an approximate 8% decline between 2014 and 2016. From 2015 to 2016, mining and manufacturing, which for Houston translates into the energy sector, experienced just over a 9% decline. So even though the Houston region added workers, these were not the high-paying jobs created during the heady oil expansion days of the early part of the present decade. For the airline industry, these changes meant changes in the economics of flying. As Houston's businesses made decisions about how they fly, we saw fewer people purchasing premium seats. Houston used to be called Super Houston. It's now just called Houston. In 2016, we witnessed about a 1% decrease in passengers, yet we still managed about 54 million passengers last year. For 2017, through September, we accommodated more than 40 million passengers and expect that number to reach 53 million by the end of the year. Now, daily flights disrupted by Hurricane Harvey and the impacts to the business connections following the storm account for most of the disruption for this calendar year. Now, prior to the storm, we were operating at about a 2% increase in traffic, and the good news is that we expect to get back on track as passenger traffic, on average, is trending in the right direction. So let's turn to see what is taking place at our airports this year. Let me first address Bush Intercontinental. The development of our look and feel as a service provider and our designs for the future international travel are all part of what made an exciting year at Bush Intercontinental Airport. More than 40 new retail shops, 30 restaurants were constructed, renovated, offering a variety of global flavors and more beautiful choices. We were even rated tops among the top 20 airports for vegan, vegetarian offerings. Now you say, vegan in Texas? Really? And the answer is yes. But don't worry, we got Smash Burger, we got Whataburger, and we've got Papacitos. So you need not be concerned. In retail, global brands such as Chanel, Hugo Boss, iStore Boutique, MAC, Swarovski, Tumi, and Hard Rock Cafe were among the additions. Our Chief Commercial Officer, Ian Wadsworth, is fond of saying, we offer a line of world-class products and services in a city that is recognized for growth and innovation. With the unprecedented growth we saw in 2014 and then again in 2015, in terms of carriers and international service at Bush Airport, we felt it was time to take a prudent turn and look at, pay some attention to the need for expanded capacity. Some of that effort can already be seen. Early this year, we joined United Airlines and unveiled the brand new Terminal C North. At $277 million, the new terminal has sweeping tarmac views through floor-to-ceiling concourse windows that reveal to our passengers the intricacies of air travel, enriching their experience. United and Houston Airport System also partnered to build a 200,000 square foot technical operations center for maintaining wide-body aircraft long haul. The new Terminal C North stands in the very important step in a series of changes that will come along the corridor on which Terminal D and Terminal E now stand. As Houston is the most diverse city in the United States, our airport system serves as a population that has practically ties to everywhere in the world. To support that aspect of Houston's life, we have begun the design phase of what will be a total demolition rebuild of Mickey Leland International Terminal D at Bush Airport. This modern facility will accommodate 12 gates with the capacity to accommodate the wide-body A380, capable of long-haul travel to the farthest reaches of our route map. The competitive nature of the Houston business was evident in the effort to produce a plan for the new terminal. Though we conceived this project and told you about it at the last set of the airport address, we experienced a few starts and stops. But we streamlined the plan that we will deliver this phenomenal asset to Houston, and we plan to deliver the complex by 2021. And our carriers remain committed to their partnership with us. United recently announced it will begin flying daily, nonstop, from Houston to Sydney, Australia. The Houston airport system continues to be the only airport system in North America to reach every inhabited continent. Houston, and not other cities in the world, can say that. Not New York, not Chicago, not Los Angeles, and not Dallas. And while I tease our friends in Dallas, I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to the people of Dallas-Fort Worth Airport who reached out to support the Houston Airport System employees following Hurricane Harvey. We are forever grateful. We are forever grateful for their efforts. They are greatly appreciated. Turning now to the gem just south of downtown in October of 2015, as Bob mentioned earlier, Hobby Airport began service through its new international concourse. When I last spoke at this event, this service was only a few months old. Since then, the international concourse at Hobby has averaged approximately 800,000 new passengers per year. The new business came at a time when the Houston economy began to experience that dip that I discussed earlier. But the new service at Hobby provided some resilience for us and delivered on the bottom line through the market fluctuation. What's driving this traffic is the emergence of middle-class markets in Mexico, Central America, and the Caribbean. Those passengers took advantage of Southwest Airlines' new offerings, and they are making a difference for us. After taking down the construction walls, Hobby had reclaimed its place as one of the top 10 airports in the country for its size, according to J.D. Power. It's ranked number 7 in passenger service, to be precise. One new offering at Hobby is Houston's first new Houston Interactive Visitor Center located near the baggage claim area. This, I see someone has an interest there. George? This portal enables visitors to plan their Houston trip using interactive touchscreen technology. There you can locate where you are staying and learn all about the best restaurants, entertainment options, and everything else that you might want to know about Houston to make your trip to Houston special. Ellington. Early this year, Ellington Airport observed its 100th anniversary. The airport once served as a training ground for some of our nation's first military aviators. It served as the home of the legendary T-38s and the men and women who would take our nation to space. We aim to build on that legacy. The Houston Airport System, or the Houston Spaceport, located at Ellington Airport, seeks to be a magnet for the next generation of Space City innovators. As one of only 10 Federal Aviation Administration licensed launch sites, Houston Spaceport is positioned to be the focal point for both government and commercial space initiatives. In recent months, we have been involved in stiff competition to expand the presence of the aerospace and aviation industry in the Bay Area. Last June, we learned that Houston had just missed out on Blue Origin's rocket engine manufacturing project. We lost by 1 vote to Huntsville, Alabama, the city known for that industry alone. But in so doing, we proved our competitiveness. Houston Spaceport is ready to host the space operations of companies such as Sierra Nevada, which has been awarded a contract to fly the Dream Chaser aircraft to and from the International Space Station for cargo resupply operations. The Dream Chaser is an X-wing vehicle that had its origins in the labs of Johnson Space Center and is the vehicle for which we already have a contract to provide landing services in the 2019 to 2020 time period. In April, we broke ground on a new air traffic control tower for Ellington Airport that will serve our general aviation and military partners. The $12.4 million project provides improvement in infrastructure enhancements and supports a military presence of almost 6,000 defense jobs in our area. The jobs, in turn, provide an economic impact of $927 million to our regional economy. The tower will also accommodate mission control, as Bob has said, for operations and future spaceport activities. The Lone Star Flight Museum recently cut the ribbon on one of its most phenomenal, immersive learning experiences ever built for our city. Your sons and daughters can have at their disposal a $38 million museum and space lab to explore science, technology, math, and engineering through the wonders of aviation. Here, children learn the science of flight, how to prepare a flight plan, engage in pre-flight inspections, and even navigate their plan using one of 10 Redbird simulators. There are only 2 aviation learning centers of this kind in the United States. Next generation technology and utilization of big data is an important part of the effort to provide better passenger service. In August of this year, we rolled out new wayfinding technology on our Flight to Houston website. You can click the system without the need to download the app. iPad technology is improving restroom experience. Through our smart restroom pads, passengers can communicate with us directly real time, enabling us to anticipate demand and deliver cleanliness and comfort in those restrooms. In September, we streamlined our parking shuttle routes. We'll get you to the terminal faster, pick you up more often. To chart progress, we've installed new kiosks that provide running wait times for Eco Park and Eco Park 2 shuttles. And we are installing new space locator technology in our garages at Bush Airport, as we have already done at Hobby, to help you park and reach your gate more quickly. To ease the stress sometimes associated with the travel, Houston Airport System continues a wonderful program that gets the great comments from our passengers. Travelers can experience the soothing sounds of a jazz quartet, a classical chamber group, or the charismatic lyrics of R&B. Harmony in the Air is one of the several initiatives that the Houston Airport System has undertaken as part of our strategic plan to wow our passengers and represents the richest of Houston. And here I want to take a pause and recognize Maricela Cruzman. Maricela, would you please stand? Maricela is the City of Houston's Civic Arts and Performing Arts program. Thank you so much. Maricela has taken this program from a concept to the pages of the New York Times in a major story that was done recently. Now, we hope all of these enhancements provide a better experience for you at your airports. And now let's take a look at our financial picture. In fiscal year 2016, the total net position for the Houston Airport System increased to $1.35 billion, up from $1.28 billion in 2015. Our unaudited returns for 2017 indicate that, again, we increased our net position to about $1.48 billion. That's a 15% increase over the last 2 years, thanks to increases in operating revenues, including parking, and a decrease in operating expenses. The Houston Airport System maintains a strong bond rating. We hold an A+ rating with Standard & Poor's and an A1 rating with Moody's for subordinate lien debt, which is the largest type of debt that we carry. These ratings indicate our strong strength and low-risk status. Now, one of the ways that we compete for opportunity to serve connecting passengers is to manage to control the cost per enplanement. Our projected cost for enplaned passengers at Bush Intercontinental Airport is roughly in the middle of the pack for the 30 largest hub airports in the United States. At Hobby, the cost is $5.29 per enplanement passenger. That's the second lowest when compared to the 30 medium hub airports. And meanwhile, as I said earlier, Hobby was rated number 7 among airports in its class for passenger satisfaction by J.D. Powers, and is one of only 3 4-star airports in the country, according to Skytrax. The Houston Airport System is truly delivering on value. And there is so much to see that is new at the Houston Airport System, and so much more in store. Jobs, economies, and growth of major cities can only happen when the right people connect. That is what we do at the Houston Airport System. It is our mission to connect the people, the business, cultures, and economies of the world to Houston. We are doing it well. And we are Houston strong. And before I close, I just want to recognize Patrick Trahan. Patrick, where are you? Patrick is the Director of Public Relations and Community, and Patrick and his staff put on this great event. It's wonderful, so thank you so much, Patrick. And in closing, I want to thank you for allowing us to serve you, and may you please enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much.
I was enjoying his remarks so much, I forgot that I had a closing comment to make or two. Mario, thank you for that. Let's all recognize Mario for a great, great speech. Now, you all know, thank you for staying in your seats, that I always end with an advertisement, and so here's the advertisement. Believe it or not, we have a few more events this year. We have a packed agenda for events given the hurricane and the need to compress all this. The State of the County is on November 28th. So, of course, Judge Emmett will be speaking, and Speaker Strauss will be introducing Judge Emmett. I think it's going to be an interesting set of comments, frankly, from those two individuals. I won't say more than that. State of Metro is on November 30th. The Houston Region Economic Outlook, at which our economist, chief economist Patrick Jankowski, gives his economic forecast for the year. That'll be on December 8th. And then State of the Texas Medical Center on December 14th. And I'm told Bill McKeon might have something to announce at that meeting. So a lot of great events coming up. Thank you all for taking your Fridays to be with us for this event. Thank you, Mario, for putting on just a fantastic State of the Airports. Thank you all. Have a great weekend.